I have to believe that the shareholder at some point, who is, for all intents and purposes, an average everyday American, is going to demand something different of their investment.
Yes,
The investment is happening in fossil fuel companies right now, actually. I mean, that was the way they pushed, anti-apartheid stuff, for example, and other political movements.
It's a great idea.
Investment is a great idea.
But at the end of the day, I think we're so. If I don't like your apples, as a consumer, potentially, in the ideal economy, I would have the option to say, I don't like the apples you sell in your cart. I like your apples. I'm going to buy your apples.
Yeah.
But we're so invested in the in
Right.
your apples in your apple cart that it's not so easy just to.
But
take
it's not
away.
only that. It's like I don't like apples, so I'm not going to eat them. Everybody has to burn fossil fuels.
Yeah.
Like you can't just
Right.
say like I'm gonna.
And I can't.
The difference
and I
now is
can't
we have
go-
alternatives. We have we have alternatives that are at cost parity for all intents and purposes. Any coal or oil plant you built right now would be obsolete, at least economically, by the time it was
Well, but the
finished.
problem is like so we could build a nuclear plant and it would be like so much lower on it in terms of carbon impact, and it would. But the problem is, what do you do with nuclear
Are
waste?
nuclear is not-
renewables? Are
But-
we at the point
But,
of
but actually, no.
scientific?
Nuclear could do a huge amount
I
of
don't
good.
know.
in terms of
No.
I could tell you why that's not true, but
Why is
I'll
nuclear-
tell you why it's not true. I'll tell you why. It's because of the coming superstorm Sandy times 100.
well, that's one reason is we don't know what to do with the waste. And
Right.
if you're talking about a world that's going to have very extreme weather events, you don't want to have a lot of nuclear waste floating around ready to get picked up in a
Well, you
hurricane
put it in
or
Yucca
typhoon.
Mountain.
You could until an earthquake lets it loose. So there's that one. Number two is it's incredibly expensive. Nuclear is incredibly expensive. And it takes a really long time to build plants, and they only have about a 30, 40-year lifespan. All the plants we have now are all
But couldn't
all
they
should have been
replace
retired about a
a
decade
certain
ago.
number of coal plants per nuclear plant?
But,
No.
Okay, but
It's just logistically you would need a plant like at least 2 plants in every state or something, like they're already very contentious, nobody wants them around, nobody wants the waste or anything like that. But just to the scale that we have tons of wind and tons of sun energy, but we don't have, and those you can collect
But they
very
can't
simply.
process it effectively for sun energy.
in a hypothetical,
Yeah.
okay, in a hypothetical
And
world where all of the resources of the federal government were behind it,
Yes. Let's get
could
there.
renewable energy meet our demands?
Yes.
Okay.
How long?
It would take a little while. It's not going to be solved overnight. So right now,
2050?
Between now and 2020, we're basically in this fuzzy cost parity point where solar and wind are just about catching up to
Is it
oil.
just solar and wind, or what else are we looking at? Are we
You
looking
can do
at hydros?
tidal and geothermal, which
Okay.
are not just
Iceland's
not
not
talked
as
about
well.
on the same scale. They're more situational.
Iceland's
So
all
the
about you.
real,
Yeah,
but
but
the
they're
real,
built on top of a
the
giant
real
island.
future of energy is solar and wind.